I just want to look and see what I look like. Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are here today on the Dead Tired Dads podcast, which is a podcast for gamers who don't have time to game.
That's right, Josh.
Ryan.
Yes?
I had to perform an emergency car seat install the other day.
Oh, dude, those are the worst.
So
those are the worst.
So my son, who is just over a year old at this point, he was in a carrier still, and we just had the carrier that we, took out of the car locked in. So one Sunday, my wife had to work Sunday morning, so I get up with the kids to get ready for church. I'm running around the house getting ready, and I realize that the carrier isn't upstairs. And so I'm like, okay, so where's the carrier? And so I text him, and I go, hey, where's the carrier? And she's like, well, it's downstairs. And I come downstairs, and I look where it would be if it was downstairs.
It's definitely not downstairs.
It's not downstairs. And I take a picture, and I send it to her, and she's like, oh, let me check. Turns out
in the car.
She had not taken the carrier because he's gotten to the point where he's extremely heavy too. Yeah. And so because he's heavy, like carrying him in the carrier is just like a hassle.
Yeah.
So yeah. That being the case, it was like, okay, well, I have to get ready for church now and also get a car seat because we had prepared for this. We had actually bought 2 new car seats.
You were actually ready.
We were ready for this, but it was not expected. I wanted to have time to do it, and I did not. So yeah, that was. And I gotta say, when you're installing a car seat, it's aggravating enough, but doing it when you're in a hurry, is just absolutely awful.
No.
They do not make those things easy to get out.
No.
And it got me thinking, I feel like car companies are missing out on an extremely, large market that they could be taking advantage of.
Yes.
Why aren't car companies designing car seats that go in their cars easily?
I don't know. I really don't, because I have not yet experienced a car seat that goes in easily. I just haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, my oldest son is in a booster, and that goes in real easily, but legit car seats, no, I haven't experienced it yet. So,
I understand. I get it. I understand why it has to be that way. You want to have, to make sure that the things are secure and good and solid and that things are in there.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there are ways that car seat installs could be so much easier.
I don't understand it. I really don't.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just has to be complicated. And that's just the way it has to be.
I mean,
there's a law that that's actually partially true.
A law that it must be complicated to get this. Listen, I understand that if the trade-off is safety, I do understand that. But there just has to be a better way.
Right.
I'm convinced there has to be a better way.
And like I said, why aren't car companies coming out with here's the new Toyota car
I don't know.
That would make a lot of sense. That
we're constantly giving away great ideas on this show.
Hey,
if more than 12 people listen, someone would probably steal these ideas from us.
Hey, we've got copyright, right?
True.
There is a copyright symbol somewhere. on our stuff. I know that. That's actually true.
Yes.
So, go us. We are winning.
I have a funny car seat story too.
Okay, go for it.
I wasn't gonna share this, but I actually forgot about this, but you reminded me of it when talking about car seats.
This is good.
So, last weekend we were driving to Louisville to visit some of our friends, and our youngest son, for us, Louisville's about an hour and a half away. It's about an hour and a half drive. We are 20 minutes from our friend's house. and we hear our younger son just violently puking in the back seat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The 3-year-old is just vomiting everywhere in the back seat. So we have to pull off of the highway, find a little exit and gas station.
Jeez.
Luckily, we intentionally brought pajamas for the kids because we knew we were staying there all day, and then when we left to come home, we were just going to put them in their pajamas.
Right.
So fortunately, we had extra clothes for him, but we had to take the car seat out on the side of the road, wipe it down with baby wipes, which of course does absolutely nothing when you're talking about vomit.
Right.
So, yeah, car seats are fun.
Yeah, no, that happened a few years ago when we were down south visiting my family, and we were wrapping up the weekend, and so we had gone to like a cabin to stay with like a large portion of my family.
Yes.
And we were wrapping up, and so we were heading back to my parents' house, and like that morning my daughter had just been like devouring watermelon. Like there was just this big thing of watermelon out in the common area that we were all sharing, and she had just been kind of like snacking away on it. And so like on the way home we were like on these like kind of like sort of like not like super, not like Kentucky windy roads, but like sort of windy roads, and like she just starts throwing up watermelon in the back, and it was just the same thing. Like probably she was probably about, I think she was like 3. She would have been 3 at the time.
All that sugar.
Yeah, no, it's cleaning up vomit on the side of the road is absolutely no fun.
But that's another thing about car seats. There's like all these little places for it to get into, and like again, they're not easy to get in or out. So I'm like wrestling the car seat that's covered in puke out of the car, and I'm like, this is just great.
So long story short, what we're saying is car seat companies need to do better.
It's got to be a better way.
You need to do better. Work harder. Find a better way.
Do better.
Do better.
Yep.
Listen and learn. That's
There's got to be a better way.
I don't know. So, anything else fun besides car seats going on this week, Ryan?
Josh, you know what?
What?
I'm in a little bit of denial.
Denial?
And
we're not in Egypt.
I knew that joke was coming. I still said it even though I knew that was coming.
Sorry. Dad humor.
Dad jokes. I'm in denial, and that denial is actually costing me precious gaming time.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to help because I think you're in the same denial as I am.
Are you missing football already?
I am missing football, Josh.
So
it's horrible.
How many weeks are we out? We're like 2 weeks out at this point?
Not enough. Like it's not. It hasn't been long enough. That's how long.
See, I don't know, man. Like it's good. I love football, and I'm glad when it's like, I'll be glad when it's back, but like having the Sunday afternoons to like play video games is nice.
See, and that's where it's costing me, because being in denial, I have started playing Madden again.
That's not helpful.
So I'm wasting precious video game time playing Madden instead of like other games.
Madden has been like, this is going to get into like a total sidetrack of a conversation, but like and this goes into I'll talk about this a little bit more in my video game review, but like EA is a wreck of a company.
Oh, dude. Oh my goodness.
EA is a complete train wreck of a company.
So maybe I want to tell a story, but I think in a week or two we're going to do sort of a special one-off episode.
Yes. And
I think my story will fit better in that, so I'll save it.
We'll save that story for a couple weeks from now.
EA is just...
Okay. So, with that, I've got major problems with EA right now.
Me too.
Major problems with EA. And so, yeah, why don't we just get into our reviews, and I can talk about my problems with EA.
All right.
So, I'll go ahead and go first.
All right, do it.
So, I played another game on Game Pass.
Yay, Game Pass.
And guess what, Ryan? You'll never believe it.
Here we go.
You won't believe it.
Wait for it.
I actually...
No.
beat a game.
Josh beat a game.
I finished a game.
Josh finished
believe it or not.
Video game.
So I played Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, is that good?
It is good. Oh. It is a good game.
I haven't played it yet.
However, so it is an EA game.
It is an EA game.
Available on Game Pass. So it's part of the partnership between Microsoft and EA to allow them to have some of their EA stuff for certain time frames or whatever. So in order to play it on Game Pass, I had to download a separate EA app.
Stupid. So
I downloaded the separate EA app, and I'm playing. So I was playing Jedi Fallen Order. I get with our buddy Matt, who we all know and love. I get with him, every now and then so we can play, co-op games and stuff like that. So we had been playing this other game that I hope to review at some point if we can ever get back to playing it. But so we were playing this other game, but I had that on Steam. So we go to play that game, and in order to get that game on Steam, I had to download another EA app that I had. So I already had this previously called Origin. Now Origin is their older platform,
and was terrible.
So I try to go play this other game, and it comes up with this error message saying that I have to close out the other EA app because they don't work together.
Because reasons.
So why. EA has developed a new app that doesn't function with, their old app can't function if that app is open. Why on earth?
Genius.
What are they doing?
Genius level development.
What is the, this is 2022. We should have things that communicate together, right? And if you're gonna, it just blew my mind. And so not only that, but I tried to close out the EA app, and it was it still wouldn't work. You can't close out the EA. I had to uninstall the EA app.
So dumb.
And by the time we had worked all of this out, it was it had been an hour.
You had used all your available gaming time,
and that was it. It was Matt was
sorry,
we're just gonna have to we're just gonna have to do a rain check. And so it's I was furious. And so I was well, he's going to if he's got to go, I get it. So I'll play Jedi Fallen Order. But guess what? I have to re-download the EA app.
Oh no!
And it's so what? This is a huge video game company, right? This is not
very large.
Some minor studio that's developing this is a major company. What are they doing?
This is not someone working out of their garage. They've got money.
It just boggles the mind how you could have two apps, and I think don't they have a third?
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
I feel they have a third app that's out there for EA games. Besides Origin, besides EA, I just I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. How much frustration and stress I was put through to try to play this game. So anyway, that's my frustrations with EA.
Yep. Getting
into Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, I am excited to hear about this game.
So, very, very smooth gameplay, very cool. As far as time investment, I beat it. So
Josh finished a game.
So, that being the case, if I can finish a game, it's beatable. It's halfway open world, but mostly a linear storyline, which is actually very helpful. for someone like me.
I love when games do that.
There are side things that you can do, and you can go back. There's lots to explore, but you don't it's not a requirement. And so yeah, overall, pretty quick gameplay. So some of the frustrations I had with it, is great story, great graphics, smooth as far as the gameplay is concerned. But one thing that really aggravated me with the game was the actual combat.
Oh, okay.
So the last thing, if I'm playing a Star Wars game and I'm playing with, a Jedi, the last thing that I want to be spending my time doing is like constantly evading enemies.
No, if you're a Jedi, you want to be awesome.
Right.
You want to be slicing through people.
Right. And I get it. Like, part of that is, but I played this game on like basically normal, like the normal difficulty.
Yeah.
And I found that at the beginning of the game, I was like, this is just too hard. Like, why is this so hard? Like, and I've like found myself like checking the difficulty to make sure that I hadn't selected like a harder difficulty.
Yep.
Because it was just like, and part of it was like I didn't quite understand how the combat system was supposed to work. Mm-hmm. And as the game went on, I kind of figured it out a little bit more. But it was still one of those things where I was like, I don't like this combat system.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, like, if I'm a Jedi, I want to be able to, use my lightsaber, and I want to be able to use the Force. And so as the game goes on, you kind of pick up different Force skills and stuff like that make it a little bit easier. But it's still, overall, I felt like the combat could have been better. I feel like, what was the one that came out on Xbox 360? Force Unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
Was a much better combat system. It's been a while since I've played those games, but like I remember feeling like I am, I'm in control. Like, and it was still, there were still challenging things about it. This just kind of aggravated me. And the other part about it that kind of aggravated me, there are like different puzzles and things like that you have to solve, and those are fun. Those could be fun, but then there are these not necessarily puzzles, but they're, I don't know how to describe them, but they're kind of like fast action sequences but they're not
right.
But they're not quick. They're not quick time events. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I said that this is a good game. I'm gonna go through a lot of things here that just aggravated me half to death about it. So
it's okay.
One thing that I didn't figure out until later on that you could do, but at first it has this feature that's turned on automatically for whatever reason, that when you jump onto something that you can climb, you have to push a button to grab onto it. So rather than just jumping and grabbing onto something and doing it automatically, you have to like tell it. So you'll like hit it and like hang there for a second, and if you don't hit the button, you fall. Okay. And it's like, if I'm hanging on to something, like shouldn't the character like just grab it? And like, so for the longest time I was like, this is such a stupid, and then I found out in the menu, I was like, oh, I can turn that off. Okay, yes. Just grab onto things automatically, please.
Automatically do it.
But why is that even a feature?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
But there are these things. There was this game for the Nintendo, and it was an arcade game, really. So there was this game, an arcade game, that was Don Bluth, I think, the guy who did the animator for American Tail. I think it's Don Bluth. But he designed a video game, but it wasn't really a video game. It was more an animation.
Oh, right.
With a bunch of QuickTime events.
Yeah. And
that's all. Like, it was an arcade game, and the only way to beat the arcade game was basically to know what was coming.
So you could press the buttons fast enough.
Yeah. Yep. And if you didn't know what was coming, you were going to die. So it was basically a quarter eating machine, because you'd put your quarter in, you'd go as far as you knew, then you'd die. You'd put another quarter in, you'd go. And they came out with this game on the Nintendo and all these other things, and it was basically it's just an impossibly hard game. Yeah. And there are some things in Fallen Order that I felt like were that. Like, this is like, I can't do this particular thing until I failed at it. Yeah. Like, I have to keep trying this until I fail, until I figure out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And you just do it over and over and over again until you figure out this is how it's supposed to work. And that, I found that aggravating. But the story overall is solid. It's an enjoyable experience, and for the most part, kid friendly. Not a lot of time investment necessarily. You could spend a lot of time, exploring and doing lots of things. And I did a little bit more of that than a little bit less of that than I would have actually liked to have done. But I actually did want to beat the game, which is.
I can't believe you're saying it.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't because I, didn't want to keep playing it. It was just because I wanted to see it. and that's a Star Wars thing for me. Like I wanted to see what happened at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, and I felt like it was a pretty solid, overall a solid installment into the Star Wars lore, and overall I enjoyed it. If you can get it, I wouldn't pay. I would not have. I don't think it lives up to the hype. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, how it's such a great game, and I don't think it lives up to that hype.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a lot of issues with the actual gameplay. Again, it's a fun game, and there's things that are good about it, and I'd probably, be able to do a little bit more with it as, like, if I played through it again. I'm not going to, though. To me, there's not really a ton of replay value. I'm not going to try to beat it on a harder level. I was already aggravated enough with the combat system.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but if you can find it for like $20, which you should be able to at this point, I haven't looked at the prices for it, but so yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. I'm a fan. If you want something that you can beat.
So I'm curious about a couple things.
Yeah.
It's on Game Pass, obviously.
Right.
Did you play it on Xbox or PC?
PC.
Okay, so the reason I asked that is because I was gonna say, for our PC listeners, I think if you don't have it, if you're not paying for it, you should be paying for Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
Because the games on there are... I know we have a couple listeners that are specifically only PC players.
Okay.
And so, they may not be aware of Game Pass being available for PC.
Right.
So, look into that, because the game options... incredible.
Except that you have to get the EA app to play it.
Don't get Josh started on that.
I'll rant for another hour on that if I have to.
The second question I had is, do you know where, like, if you want to call it the timeline, or, like, do you know where it fits in, or does it ever say?
Yeah, no, so it's after the fall of the, like, so it's before Episode 4, basically.
Okay.
Before A New Hope.
Gotcha.
So you run into, spoilers. So
spoiler alert. Press the pause button.
I won't say anything. I'll stop.
All right.
But yeah. So yeah, it's because the idea is that you were your character who was if you're a fan of the show Gotham, he was the guy who was kind of the Joker. Pre-Joker guy. His name was Jerome, I think, in that show. That was the actor. That actor from Gotham is your protagonist.
Interesting.
In this. So you were a youngling when Order 66 came down, and your master was killed, but you escaped.
Yeah.
And so you've kind of grown up, and you've kind of broken off from the Force. But not completely. So but you're trying to maintain like a low profile, and not get killed by by the Empire.
Huh.
So
interesting that once again Joker has a connection to Star Wars with.
Look at that, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker for a long time.
Hey, yeah, look at that, Joker's everywhere.
So
it's fun.
I was going to make a comment too. You mentioned kind of how difficult it is. That's the only thing I've heard about this game.
Really?
One other person was telling me about this game, and they said it's very fun. It's basically the same thing as you. Very fun, but difficult. And it's sort of... This is something we could talk about in a whole other episode, but it's sort of this trend in video games right now where they're like, on one of the reviews I did for Remnant from the Ashes, I referenced Demon Souls. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of games that are trending that way now where, like, the not the whole point, but the design is intentionally difficult, where you have to do what you described. You have to just keep, like, doing it and grinding until you figure it out. And there's a lot of games going that direction now.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
It was... So, like, the other thing was, it wasn't like it was... Like, once I figured out, like what I needed to... Like, how the combat system worked.
Yeah.
I kind of understood it a little bit better as like a timing, like as a, if you do this, then they're going to do that, and so you have to do this to counter that, and then you do this. But like, it's just such an aggravation.
It really is.
And it, like I said, it became easier as time went on. But the other thing is that it didn't always like tell you, like at the beginning of the game, it gives you 2 options. You can go to 2 planets.
Yeah.
So I went to one planet and I spent like way too long there, just dying over and over and over again, only to realize that like that wasn't the planet I was supposed to go to. You weren't
supposed to go there.
I wasn't supposed to go there, and I'm like, why did you even give me the option?
Why would you let me?
Why did you even give me that option? Because like I couldn't have gotten any, like I got as far as I could get basically. If I had like 3 more people to kill, and if I had killed those people, I would have been at a dead end because I didn't have the skills necessary to progress.
Go any further.
And it's like, why?
What was the point?
Like, why did you like let me go to this place in such a basic, like I said, the story, like the gameplay for the most part plays out very linearly. Like there's some exploration that you can do, but like you go here, you follow these paths, you get to the next objective. You go here, you follow this path, you get to the next objective.
So why did they ever give you that?
Why on earth did you give me a second option at the beginning of the game? Huh. And I went there because I was curious about, like, it sounded like,
right.
Being a Star Wars nerd, like I was like, oh yeah, I want to go there.
Cool.
But yeah, no, it is.
No, that's a trend in video games. I've got one that I'm kind of sort of working on right now that I'll probably do a review on. It'll be a while though. But it's sort of the same thing. Like it's intentionally difficult. The combat is hard. You have to essentially die a lot until you figure it out.
Yeah.
Just to get to the next room where you can die a lot more.
Right.
So it's like,
and
gee, thanks.
Like I don't mind, some level of difficulty, but I don't want it to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Like that's not why I play games. I don't want to be frustrated while I'm playing a game. I want to have fun. And we've talked about that, in my opinion, games should be fun to play.
Right.
And that doesn't mean easy. That just means fun.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a way to do this game. There would have been a way to do this game that could have been kept it at a reasonable difficulty, had it be fun, but with the option to make it more difficult. As you went like it, and like I said, just the way that the combat system is laid out, it just you do a lot of dodging, parry, dodge, dodge, and like. And it's just like, I don't like...
Which is what all those games are.
I'm not trying to do that. That's not, like, I'm playing a Star Wars game with a light... Like, I've got someone who can use the Force and someone who has a lightsaber. I want to be able to hack and slash and destroy things. Like, that's... Of course. Like, why on earth would I want to spend my time parrying and dodging and,
Yeah.
So, anyway. Overall,
still worth playing.
Still worth playing. Absolutely worth playing.
Especially if you have Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which I do
right
now. Because for the next 6 or 7 weeks or so, I am borrowing my brother-in-law's Xbox Series X.
Woot woot.
And it's awesome.
So what are you playing?
So
I assume the game that you're going to review is a Game Pass review.
I am, Josh. Okay. That is correct.
So
I'm playing a lot of stuff though.
So
too much stuff.
Do we do another hashtag Game Pass?
Yes. 2 weeks in a row.
Now, this is like 6 weeks in a row.
That's
at this
true.
point.
That's true. Anyway, so I'm playing a lot of games right now. Speaking of finished games, I finished Halo Reach.
Oh.
Which I've never played before.
Oh.
I know, it's my first time.
Oh, I know. Man. Halo Reach is like my favorite Halo game.
It's so good.
It's like I think it's the best Halo game.
It's not going to be my review because it's Halo. And right. You don't need us to tell you to play Halo. Right. That's kind of silly. But I up until about a week ago, I had only played Halo 1 and 2. I've never played anything else.
Oh, man.
So as soon as I got it, I downloaded Master Chief Collection right to it.
So Halo Reach is like by far like my favorite. And
I thought it was phenomenal.
I
thought it was great.
To me, it is the best Halo game. It's got the best campaign. It had a great multiplayer when it was big. I loved Halo Reach.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a really, really great game.
Sorry, we could talk about Halo for
we
forever.
could. But I finished the game.
Good job.
That was the main point of that.
So to your review,
I was for my review. I also played Game Pass. I played a game called Moonglow Bay.
Moonglow Bay.
Moonglow Bay. And I love this game.
You love this game, Moonglow Bay?
It's so different.
Okay.
So the gist of Moonglow Bay is it's set in the 1980s, and you and your wife, or if you choose a female character, your husband, you start your partner is like a fishing expert.
Okay.
And so the whole gist of the game is like you have a boat. You start out and you have a boat, and that's what you do together. You go out with your partner and you go fishing. And without giving too much away, some stuff happens, and you are left to run the fishing business on your own. And I won't say why, but you have to run the fishing business on your own, and
your spouse leaves you for another pirate.
I won't give it away, but it's not that.
Okay.
It's kind of this game. The style is like kind of like a Stardew Valley or a Harvest Moon, where you can upgrade and craft stuff to make the business more profitable. But the gist is you own like a fishing business and a seafood restaurant. So the fish that you go out and catch on your boat, you then take back to your seafood restaurant and you cook and sell.
Sorry, you mentioned owning a business, and I was having flashbacks to Lawnmower Simulator.
But here's the good thing. You don't have to design a logo or come up with a business plan.
We will not descend into anarchy this week. It's not going to happen.
We will stay on track.
Staying on track here.
So that's the whole gist, is you own a fishing business and seafood restaurant. And it's so fun. It's rated E for everyone. So
okay.
It's very... In fact, if you look by like categories, you can find this game in family friendly. Like, okay. That's where I found it. It was family friendly. So
nice.
Like perfect for what we talk about. In terms of time investment, it's like super low. You can save and quit anytime. There is a story, but it's not like... and it's all like... it's all text dialogue, so okay. You don't have to like hear it. You can read it.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing like that. I just thoroughly enjoyed this game, and like I said, it's a lot like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon. But instead of farming, instead of like owning a farming business, you own a fishing/restaurant business. Yeah. So, but otherwise, like a lot of the same vibe.
So do you go out and fish? So are you out fishing, or are you sending people out fishing?
So I haven't finished it yet, but so far I go out and do the fishing.
Gotcha.
And I'm still relatively early on in the game, but like you can like have, they're called vending machines, but you can set up like vending machines around town and like put your food that you cook in the vending machines, and then like people in town will just go up to the vending machine and buy your stuff. So that's how you make money.
Fish in vending machines sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's real. I'm not sure how
it does not sound like it fits. A solid business plan.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So yeah, very family friendly. My son loves it. Of course, he likes to go fishing with me too, so that helps. But he'll ask me. He's been asking me like, "Daddy, can we play the fishing game? Can we play the fishing game?" So that's fun for me.
So is he able to play with you, or is he just watching?
He just watches me.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. That's what I assumed.
No, that's a good question, because it's only, at least in my experience, it's only single player. I looked it up. Takes about 20 to 25 hours to beat. I'm probably not quite halfway through it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely unique though. So if you're into Stardew Valley, if you're into Harvest Moon, I think you'll love this. Yeah. But
you have those rancher.
If you look at those games and you're like, why would I want to do that? Then you're gonna feel the same way about this one.
Yeah.
So, So make of that what you will. But I'm having a blast with it. I'm not finished yet, but definitely seen more than enough to recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So it's free.
Do you know how much it is off of Game Pass?
I do not. It's only available on Game Pass and Steam.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
no PlayStation or Switch players for this one. Then. I really hope they bring it to Switch because it would be a
sounds like it'd be a good Switch
portable game.
Yeah. For sure. Lots of games are good Switch games. Though.
They are.
I mean, most games are good, if you play them.
I should mention too, like the graphics are like very similar to Minecraft. So it's not like this like realistic looking thing. It's very cartoony and blocky, but that's fun.
Fair enough.
So, Moonglow Bay.
Moonglow Bay.
Yes.
Which does not feature Jack Sparrow stealing your spouse.
It does not. That is not what happened. That would be fun, though.
That sounds like it should be what happens if it were me. That's what I would have done had I been designing the game.
That's how Josh would have made the game.
Jack Sparrow shows up and takes over the game.
Yes, true.
No more fishing. It's piracy now. We're all pirates now. That's so. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys now have 2 games that you can go play on Game Pass that are phenomenal, and you can play them and beat them relatively easily.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
Good deal. Thanks so much. I think that's going to do it for this episode, unless you've got anything else, Ryan.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We appreciate the ears on the podcast.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind doing all the things.
Do all the things.
That we talk about doing all the time.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you think about the games we've talked about. If you have a game that you want us to review, let us know. We'll see about doing that, especially if it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because that's easy to do.
I feel like Microsoft should just send us free months of Game Pass. I mean, for all the plugging that we've done.
Yeah, you would think, but... I actually do have a free month of Game Pass that I've gotten from Bing search engine.
Oh, from all your Bing searches, like the rewards?
Yeah. So if for those of you who don't know, if you use Bing instead of Google, you can sign up, make a profile and log in through Bing, and you'll get points for every search that you do on Bing. And when you get those points, you can redeem them for months of Game Pass.
Craziness.
Before that, you could redeem, if you prefer, instead of doing Game Pass, you can redeem it for Xbox cash. So,
oh yeah, that's right.
So that's what I would do. Like that's what I did before I started getting Game Pass. I would just redeem it for Microsoft dollars and redeem it and use it for DLC on games. So, it was awesome.
Crazy. So stuff you're gonna search anyway.
Yeah. Use Bing instead of Google. Everyone's spying on you, so
Yeah, I mean, they're all doing it, so
you
get some Microsoft points while you're at it.
Yeah, right. It's better to give it to Microsoft than Google,
gosh.
in my opinion. But that's just an opinion. We'll not get into that.
And now they won't see us next week because we've been shut down.
Hey, we're on Spotify. We're not.
Oh yeah, we're good.
We're good. We're good.
That's true.
We're through Spotify anyway. Thank you, Anchor.
Yes.
So, we're just doing all kinds of... we are, trying very hard. Someone sponsor us,
Again,
please.
if we had more than 12 to 15 listeners, we would be solid right now. Somebody would pay us to say this stuff.
In the meantime, we're just free ad space.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.